Hi all, so welcome to this channel once again, and today in this video session I'll discuss this topic, that is iterative control statement in the SQL stored procedure. So basically I'm going to discuss loop, while, repeat, for, leave and iterate statement in this video session. So basically this will cover various looping statements like loop in itself, while, repeat, for, and the statements which are used inside the loop like leave or iterate. So basically you're gonna get a variety of things from this video, so keep watching, and let's move on to the demo of this video. So here let me show you, I just created few examples of for each and every loop or iterative control statement. So first thing is to demonstrate loop and while. So here you can see I'm creating a stored procedure using create or replace procedure statement, and its specific name is stored7. As I told in my each video, that specific name is always a unique name and it can be same for multiple procedures. So procedure name can be same for multiple procedures, but the specific name must be unique for everyone if they reside in the even if they reside in the same schema or different schema. Now here you can see I'm demonstrating the loop statement. So loop is basically uh, execute the statements in a set of executions, number of executions. So till the time that condition don't get false, that statements executed repeatedly. Now here you can see few things are there for this statement, like here you can see loop 1, then a colon before the loop statement. So this is the label for this loop. So this is actually required when we end a loop or we leave the loop. So you can see I'm using a loop 1. You can name it any thing you as per your way. So you can name it loop 2 or something else as if you want. Now loop 1 loop, so and this is the end loop. So you can see the semicolon would be applied on the last end loop. So end space loop and then the name of the label used with that loop, loop 1, and then semicolon. So this way this looping works. Inside that we need to write the executable statements, which is repeatedly executed till the time that conditions inside the loop won't fail or won't gets true. So basically here I would say that this loop is runs indefinitely. So if you don't, if you want leave this loop from inside the uh, loop statement, then you won't be able to come out of the loop, and you will run indefinitely. So here you can see I'm setting a variable var1 as var1, var1 as var1 plus 1. Now initially var1 was 0, so I'm checking if var1 is 9, then leave this loop, and so this will run till 9 times. So once it becomes 1, it's initially it's 0, it would come inside and it would execute and it makes it 1. So and again it would check for var1, it's uh, now 2, and if it is not equal to 9, it would still run till the time it won't becomes 9, it would run. So the same way you can keep any SQL based conditions like SQL warnings you can use. Like for example, if you are executing a SQL select statement or something else and you are using the warning with that, if this warning happens, you must come out of loop. So in this example, this is a very simple example to demonstrate or to show the how the loop statement works. So let me save this and just create this run SQL stm stored 7. Okay, this is the source file name, stored 7. So here I can set few parameters like commitment control to none, as I'm not using that, and I can debug this. Let's debug view set to source. Now check work object stored 7. Since we didn't receive any error, so it means it gets created successfully. So you can see a program object gets created. Now let's debug this stored 7. So we'll simply debug this as the way we debug a program. I'll set the breakpoint using the start debug command. So let's set the breakpoint at line number 1 and then call this stored procedure either from here, or I can call it from here as well. Call stored 7. Now you can see initially integer, this var1 is, now its default is 0. After that you are inside the loop, it's set to 1, so it checks if it's 9, then again check for another condition. So it's repeatedly executing the statements. So as you can see, there are no other statements in the loop, so it won't executing them, and it's simply setting this to 3 and then 4 and then 5. So it's still not 9, it's 7. It's now 9. So if var1 is 9, then this will leave the loop. So I'm leaving the loop, I'm out of the loop, and you can see that this loop, we actually break that indefinite loop and we come out of the loop on that certain condition, which becomes true. Now this was the demonstration for the loop statement, that how we'll be using the loop statement in our SQL stored procedure. Now let's move on to the loop and leave actually. So I also showed you how we will be using the leave. Now I'll show you the while statement, which is again a looping or iterative control statement. So here I am creating another procedure stored 8. Specific name is told 8. I'm declaring variable 1 as integer, which is default set to 0 value. Again, here you can see for loops we need to use the labels. So here I use the same label, loop 1, then while. Now the main difference you saw in these two things are that in loop we are not using the conditions to check whether this condition gets met, then only run the loop or we come out inside the loop. So that loop, that's why that loop was called as indefinite loop. Now this is a different loop. So since it checks for condition while var1 is less than 9, then only do, and this is the end of that loop. So end while, and then the name of the label. So label name is this. So while and while. So basically we are here using while and while, and the label name loop 1 here. So if this condition met, then only this sets of statements gets executed, else it won't get executed. So we can say that it sometimes it executes, sometimes it does not execute because of this condition. If that condition is met, then only it gets executed. Now do then setting this. So inside this you can see I am leaving the loop when it's becoming 9 or greater than equal to 9. So let's create this. Oh, sorry. Let me create this. Stool 8. Now just debug this. So just wait. I will set the breakpoint. Just call stool 8. So you can see it's checking where one is less than 9. So it is executing data statements. Now it's 4, it's 5, 7, 8, 9, then leaving this loop. So just do the end debug and let me come on to this and just comment out this. So just save this. And compile this and again debug this. So we'll be setting the breakpoint. Just wait. Call stool 8. So you can see it's executing and it's now 6. Okay, it's now 9. So you can see we don't need to use the leave statement here because it's checking this statement. So I was just showing you that either we can use this or we must not have to use this. Basically this is not required, but we can use this also. But as I would prefer and I would say that we must if we are using while loop, so we do not need to use the leave in that case, because that would always be come out of loop, or it would end, the loop would get end once that condition gets true. Now, so we have covered loop, leave and while. Let's move on to the repeat one. So again I'm now using the repeat. So same way the loop statement works. So repeat is also there. So it will repeat the statements until that condition won't get true. So basically you can see I'm using the repeat here, and we do not need to use the statements here. And one more thing, this is not an indefinite loop because we need to use the condition inside that repeat, that is the looping statement. So basically it's just opposite of while, you can say. So in while we are checking at the starting, but in this we are checking inside the loop. So in while it happens that sometimes it execute or sometimes it not, but here in this case, even if it is false, if the condition is not valid, or you can say, or the condition gets true, you can say, whatever the condition we mentions is met until in the until statement, then in that case even once it gets executed. So basically it gets executed once even if it's a condition gets met in the until statement. Now here you can see I'm using the end, so I'm ending this repeat here and using the label. So this is you can see same in every looping statement like loop, while or repeat. So the change in their syntax, like name, that is repeat, there we use the while, there here we use the end while. Now here you using the repeat or end repeat, and then the label name whatever you used. The only difference in while and repeat is the condition. In while the condition gets checked at the start, but here the condition gets checked here. So until var1 is greater than equal to 9, we are running this loop. So initially it is 0, so we are incrementing the var1 and we are running this loop low. So uh, let's compile this as well. So you can see that it's created successfully since we did not receive any errors. Now just debug this. Okay, just do end debug. Now, oh sorry, just do end debug. So basically we need to debug the ninth procedure. So stored 9. Let's wait. We'll set the breakpoint. Set the breakpoint at line number 1. I can call it from here, or you may call it from SQL as well. Now you can see initially it's some things set to, now it's 0. So we are basically running this loop. It's 1 until var1 is greater than equal to 9. So you can see it's repeating the statements. Now it's become 9 and var1 is greater than equal to 9, so it will come out of the repeat statement. So you can see how the repeat statements work. So I showed you that in demo. Now we covered look, while, repeat, and the leave one. Now the time to for and iterate. So I have decided to give you the demo of for in the last, because this is a special kind of loop which is created or in the SQL stored procedure. So basically this is for processing the cursors. So whenever we are going to process any cursor statement in our SQL stored procedure, we must go for the for SQL for statement. So for looping. So let me show you. You can see this is a stored procedure. This was the name of the stored procedure. This is the specific name. Now this is the body of the stored procedure. Here I am declaring one variable, a string of character 10, and whose default value is set to blank. Now as same in other loops, so in this one as well I'm having the label name loop1 colon, then I'm using the for loop. Now in this for loop, so I have to define a variable. So as we define in the for loop for x10, let's say here x10. So here I am defining a variable for a cursor. So for x as cursor1 cursor. So the name of the cursor is cursor1 cursor for select name from this. So let me show you the data. So let's do start. So you can see name 1, name 2, name 3 and name 4 is there. So basically we'll be going to read 4 records. So you can see select for x as cursor1 cursor for select this from this table, then do and end for. So this is the starting of the for, do and end for, end of the for loop. So inside that we'll be executing this multiple times till the time the cursor won't fetching any row. So it fetch all the rows, so all the rows would get processed in this loop, for loop, and after that once the we won't get any, we will process all the rows and we won't get any rows after that. this loop gets end on the fetch statement. So when we don't fetch anything like SQL code 100 in that case in SQL RPGLE program, so here um, the loop gets end. So you can see then I'm using the string, that string variable which I declared. So you can see I am selecting the name from this table, from this. Now whatever I select from this table, so that column name I can use that column name, or I can refer that column name with the variable which is defined for this cursor in the for loop. Just I used X, so you can use XYZ, you can use any name as well. So whatever you want you can use. So I am referring this name variable which is defined in the cursor in the for loop statement as x dot name. So I'm trimming that and then concatenating with a. So names would now becomes name 1a, name 1, name 2a, name 3a, name 4a, and then I'm updating pf1 underscore d set name to this string. So this string is now concatenating with the suffix a, and then I am updating the row whatever I am reading. So at that time, so if I am on the first row, it would update the first one. So I am using the current of cursor one. So where current of cursor one, whenever I am using, so I would be updating the current row which is currently readed by the cursor. Now let's create and debug this as well. So we'll be creating this. It's 10 with debug restart source. Now just let's debug this. Just to debug first. Now debug this. So we'll wait. Then we'll set the breakpoint. Just set the breakpoint at line number 1. So I can call it from here as well. Call stored. So you can see sometimes I call from the command line, sometimes I call from here. SQL. Now string is blank for x as cursor 1. So you can see this is a variable, so you cannot see this, but you can refer this x dot name. So you can see x dot name initially not set it. Now once I read this, so we are fetching the record. So we have read the first record. So it would now we can see x dot name is name 1 concatenating with a string would become name 1a, and then I am updating the name with the string. Now let's see. Let's start from pf1 underscore d. So you can see first row gets updated, and for and then do it would have read the second row from the cursor. So let's see name 2. Now name 2 is also gets updated. So this way all the rows gets updated. Now third row gets updated, fourth row gets updated. After this we don't have any rows further to process, so you can see all those rows gets updated, and this is the end of the end for. So we can see we are now out of the for loop. So this way we will be implementing the for loops. Now the last thing is iterate. So now I want that iterate is something similar to iter in the RPG programming. So let me show you. So for example, the same example, the stored 10 procedure which I written, I'm using the same example here to show you this. So you can see I'm creating stored procedure 11, and then I'm declaring some variables. So here there I was adding a, I'm using a variable here suffix char1 as a. Now let's see loop 1 for y, as cursor to cursor for this do, and this is the end for. And here you can see I'm using the same statements, the set string, trim this, concat this, updating the name with the string where current of cursor to. Now the main important thing which I'm telling here is the iterate thing. So you can see I'm checking condition if y dot name, that is y dot name, is name 1. Let's say this is now name 1a because we have updated the row in the table. If it's name 1a, then set suffix to b. So we'll set the suffix variable from a to b, and then we'll iterate this loop. Iterate this loop means we are skipping the processing between that do and end for further, and we are skipping we are again setting the control to the next to the cursor to read the next record. So we are setting the control for the to the next record, and we are further skipping the process. So once this condition gets true, we will iterate this loop. Further conditions won't get executed and they will get skipped, and the second row would get fetched, or the next row. You can say if it's first row, then it's second row. If it's any row, then it's next row. So let me save this. Now let's first do and debug. Now we need to create this. It's created successfully. Just debug this. Stored 11. Just wait, we'll set the breakpoint. Just set the breakpoint at line number 1 and then call stored 11. The string is blank, suffix is a, so it would read the first row name 1a. So if it checks y dot name is name 1a, then suffix would get set to b and it would iterate loop. So you can see it skipped the further statements and it went to the end for, and it would read the next row now, name 2a. So this condition now does not get met, and now iterate would not get executed, so it would execute the further statement. So basically it would update these 3 rows and it would not update this row, because we are iterating on this condition. When name is name 1a, we are iterating the loop, and the further update set or update the statements won't get executed. Just because of that, only 3 rows get executed, gets updated. So let me just run this, and this is the end of loop. And just to end debug, SQLRPGLE. So you can see these 3 rows are updated. This was not, just because we use the iterate there. So on iterate, what we use, the most important thing to remember is whenever you are using the iterate, you must need to use the label name for the loop which you have defined. So basically I am iterating with this loop. So loop is loop 1. So that's all those things which I am to cover in this video, and I think I have covered the loop one, the while one, the repeat statement, for loop, iterate, leave, and all those things. So I think that's all for this video. So thank you and have a nice time.